Good morning, everyone. Myself, I'm Maruti. Presently, I'm pursuing MSc Psychology 8th semester at Central University of Karnataka. Today, I would like to present a topic called as approaches to qualitative research. There are many approaches are involved. Among them, the first one is grounded theory, and next one is ethnography, and third one is phenomenological research, and fourth one is case studies, and fifth is narrative research. Now we're going to talk about what exactly the grounded theory. A grounded theory is a systematic qualitative procedure used to generate a theory that explains at a broad conceptual level process and actions or on interactions about the substitute topic according to Carbell 2008, which states that in the grounded theory the researcher collects the rich data on a topic of the interest and develop the theory in a very inductively. And the grounded theory is developed inductively. The data is collected and data analyzed and it drives towards the theory. And most commonly, the grounded theory widely used in the particularly analytic techniques or qualitative analysis. The grounded theory is used by the HR departments. For example, instance, they might be study why these employees are frustrated by their works. They try to understand their frustration level, why their people are being indulging such a behaviors. So it will be gives the comprehensive understanding about a particular behavior and attitude of a persons. With that help, the researcher will be develop a new qualitative study or theory. Now, when do you use the grounded theory? The grounded theory will be used when there is no existing theory that could be explained about a particular phenomena, or if there is an existing theory but the data is incomplete or inadequate or insufficient, then the grounded theory will be applied to reach that data to give the suitable justifications for that particular phenomena. When you need a broad explanation and process, and there are different methods which is involved when collecting this data. First one is interview method, where the researcher will be asked a certain questions to the participant and collect the data from them. And next one is observation and documentation and historical records and videotapes. And how they will be conduct this grounded theory. Before that, first they will be identify the process to study and seeks the approval and conduct the theoretical sample and code the data, use the selective coding to develop the theory and validate your theory and write the grounded theory research report. Now we are going to talk about second approach of qualitative studies, the ethnography. Ethnography is a strategy of inquiry in which the researcher studies and interact a cultural group in a natural setting over the prolonged period of a time by collecting a preliminary observation and interview data. What will happen now here? The researcher will become a participant to study about a particular group, organization or culture, or it is more exclusively focus on culture things. The participant observations are through the interviews, and the researcher process the flexible and typically evolves or contextually response the lived and relatives are encountered in the field of settings. The study of people in their own environment or through more method such as participant observation or face-to-face interactions or comes under ethnography study help the researcher about to study, like as we said, like culture as well as language and social relationship of individuals. There are different ethnographic research methods were involved. The first one is passive observation. Here, the ethnographic research method involved into shadowing the study and subject, the observing the people without interacting them. Okay, it's like being without being aware of the participant, the researcher will be observe the natural settings and natural actions of a participants, observing their natural actions, and they will be document in the various forms such as video, audio tapes, recordings, or note taking, or photographs, and others, etc. Next one is active participation observation. Here, researcher will be involved with the people and aware of the peoples and getting interacting and working cooperating with them. The documentation same as made what they had done for the passive observation. The main benefit of this active observation will become the part of the group and allow only the observed that particular behavior, but also it will give the better understanding as compared to the passive observation. And next one is interview method. It becomes upon a observation by asking the questions to the subject. So it will be help us to understand the participants' actions and non-verbal cues, so that it will give a clear understanding what kind of their thought process are going. It will give a comprehensive understanding about a particular thing. Now we'll going to talk about the phenomenological research. The phenomenological research is approach to the qualitative research that focus on a commonality of a lived experience within the particular group. The fundamental goal of the research to arrive at a description of the nature, the particular of the phenomena, according to Carville 2013. So what it states that now the researcher will be try to investigate the particular phenomena or group or event in that particular moment to interpret the participant or live their experiences. There are different methods which is used to collect the data. The observation method, as well as they used interview methods, questionnaires, and recorded data is valid to allowed to conduct a phenomenological research. Next one is case study. In this case study method, every population from the qualitative analysis forms a qualitative analysis and involves careful, complete observation about a particular unit of a social, or that could be a personal, a family, or institution, and their actual group, even the entire community. What will happen now here? They will focus on a particular unit and they will be try to analyze and interpret in a very in-depthly, rather than being just understanding the things. They will be try to understand the phenomena or event or a particular culture or community in a very depth way. In case the study of the empirical inquires that investigation of contemporary the phenomena with its real life events and context, especially when the boundaries between the phenomenon and context are not clear, evidence are provided. So if we take the example, the case studies were mostly used in the clinical settings to try to understanding the onset of a particular problem of a client. So these studies are majorly focused on those things, and it's mostly used in the form of the qualitative studies and to understand the careful and complete understanding about a particular information or a particular unit. And so the researcher will be can take a single and so take on a single social unit and more for the researcher to study based upon his purposes. The study will be take over long period of time, and it will be give the detailed and natural history, and the unit is obtain enough information for a drawing to the correct accurate information or correct evidence for that particular problem. And It also try to understand the simplify the complexity of the things in a very detailed manner. And this study behaviors try to understand the behavior patterns and concerning with the unit and studied directly, and not focus on the indirect things and abstract things which not do not produce the the accurate answers, where there should be some um, there is no particular evidence which is given for that for the particular phenomena or event. So this also mostly applicable to the clinical settings and real life evidences to try to understanding the particular try to understanding the individuals in a very in-depthly. It's like researcher will be try to investigate any in-depth understanding about a specific phenomena, or so like that. This kind of approaches were used to draw the qualitative information. The next one is the historical research. The researcher will be try to concern about that identification and location and evaluation and synthesis of the data from the past. And the historical research seeks not only to discover the event of the past are related to the past happening to the present and the futures also. The example, if you take the Great Depression, they try to take the influence of the information from the past, and they will try to be implementing in a present things to be how to be modified or how to be regenerated that particular to stop that particular happenings. It will be helping to produce a qualitative data. The data will be collected from the two different sources. The first one is primary source, the which is provide the first handed information to directly and with evidences. And example, if you take the someone is writing a letter to another friend about a particular war, it's like conveying directly that information to the friend. If the friend is summarizing and conveying to another person, it's called as secondary information. So in this approach or in this research method, they're going to use this primary source and secondary sources for their qualitative information. The next one is narrative research. Here researcher will form the qualitative research in which the researcher focus on a topic and try to analyze the data from the case study and survey, observation or other similar methods. The researcher will be try to like understand the how story told by told and understand by the how the patients are like participants are perceived to make the sense of their experiences. So in such a way that the researcher will be try to understand that individuals they collect the data based upon the individual's experiences and the way of that story they have experience or the telling to that particular moment. This method also mostly used in clinical as well as counseling setups, where in order to understanding that client's problem in a very in-depthly. With this, we have done with approaches to the qualitative studies, and thank you one and all.